Hey, what's up, guys? I thought I would do a little video on arrangement. So say you've been working on music for a little while, and you can get loops down, and they sound okay. And you're like, okay, well, what now? How do I put this into a track? I have no idea what to do. Some people have this problem, and I guess I still do, but whatever. So how you do it is, you have your loop, and this is the starting point. This is a bar, right? So you have your kicks on quarters, and then you have, say, this, your bass, and then you have like a percussion-y stab thing that talks to the bass. And that's how you get groove, and that's pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, so what you want to do is, once you have that nailed, you want to have like the main body of the track all good to go. So like, you get, any track has like parts of it that have everything, every sound in it, and that's what you want to make. So then you can strip it down in your arrangement. So you want to select everything, select your bar, or if you have two bars, compensate, but you select your bar, you right click at the top here, consolidate. You won't get that error message. I will, but whatever. You're going to want to show fades and make sure your kick's all nice and neat. So now you have loops to work with. You have 5 loops and a MIDI loop. So what you want to do is you want to put this into a bigger unit. So DJs will know that you have to count 32 bars, and then there's usually a drop, and that's, how you mix in. So how do you do that? Well, Ableton has this magical grid that automatically adjusts the unit of measurement. So right now, each one of these is 1 bar, right? We have our bar here, our bar of music that we worked on, but each one is a bar. You can see that down here. Yes, you can see that. So what you want to do is you want to have 16, because the unit is 16, and that's the basic measurement of a track is 16 bars for DJs and stuff. And yes, this is the techno style of arrangement. So you want to right click anywhere on the grid that's not anything, and you want to select fixed grid, and you want 8 bars. So each one of these is 8 bars, right? So 2 of them is 16. So you want to have, you want to stretch your loop out to 16 bars. So how do you do that? Well, we consolidated them into loops. So we're going to select our audio material first, click down here, way down here, like bottom right corner, to select this gentleman, and then hit this loop button. And then what we can do is we can stretch this out, and that's all fun, and we'll stretch it out so that it is 16 bars, usually around 30 seconds for, the BPM that's in techno speeds. For MIDI, you'll do the same thing. You'll loop it, and then you have your loop going on here. So each one of these little indents, I'm not sure if you can see them, but you probably can. Each one of these little indents is when it restarts. So now we have a 16 bar loop. And we'll select that, and we'll just move this over here. We'll just move it out of the way. We'll zoom out more. We'll move it more out of the way. We'll just move it over here, right? So we have that. So how does a basic track start out? Well, you need something to mix with. So that'll be your kick. And that goes for, 16 bars. And then usually something else is introduced. So we have our kick, and maybe we'll copy and paste our clap here. Right, simple. And then we'll just duplicate this over. Before I do that, actually, no, I'll just continue. We want this. I want something else to be introduced. So maybe we'll just solo these guys, see what I got. All right, so we'll add in our percussion swing type thing here. So for 16 bars, it'll be this. So unmute. Right, and then it goes into this. There's a change, and this is where, the DJ guy would start to mix in. and then there's like a whoosh or whatever you want, and then bass is introduced, and then you fully, you mix the next track in, which is this track. So you can or cannot cut the previous track out, and then you have a liquid mix. And this is how it's been done for millions of years. Right, so we have that. So how are we going to make transitions? How are we going to make it sound more palpable? How is the audience going to know, or how is the audience going to anticipate something that is changing? So this is how, like, in improvisation would come into play. So when I right click, I'm going to go back to narrow, because I like narrow. So it's adaptive to where the grid kind of starts with. So that's all well and good. And I have more audio tracks up here. I'm just going to pick a crash, and I'm going to have a crash there. So at the quote-unquote drop, a bit loud. Alright, so that introduces a change in your track, which is cool. How else can you make the audience anticipate a change, or make the DJ anticipate a change? Well, you can cut those kicks out right about here. Right, so we're getting into the improvisation aspect of this, which is pretty cool. Let it clean that bass a little bit. That bothers me a little bit, but whatever. So for here, I guess we could maybe do the same thing or switch it up. So we'll just take one of the kicks out. So, right. So we have, something that makes you anticipate a change. Now, a lot of these sample packs, they come with fills. I encourage you to, find them and use them. They're little things like that. Okay, we'll just use that one. So we'll just plop this guy down here where he needs to be. I'll bring the volume down a little bit. Right, so we have that, but maybe we can move this over here. We can do that, and then moreover, a lot of these sample packs, they have little effects fills, and they're pretty nice. So what I'll do is I will find one that's already sidechained. So we get like, no, that's too long. We get like a white noise kind of sidechain here. So this will be some that'll make the audience or the DJ anticipate tension. Right, so now we have changes going on, but we have like sounds telling people when the changes are coming. Right? My nose is itchy. Anyway, so we had our loop, but now we're getting somewhere. We're getting into something that is passable as music. So I'll just continue doing that. I'll move this over. Right? I'll let this play once or twice. I'll introduce something else, which would be this. Right, so it's like a hi-hat thing. Right? And we have our groove becoming more and more established. So what we can do now is copy this over. And then we can copy our crash over. So now I want to introduce this. But I don't want it just to be like, right? I want to have something else going on here. So we can have this maybe. And then, yeah, that already has a clap. That's not going to work. So I want, let's see. Yeah, I'll have that just to keep the groove kind of becoming more and more established. I want these to be different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change these to a different color. So I know, not blue this time. Go to my group here. I already have an auto filter on. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to automate some filtering on the group. So I'll hit B, and I want to do that. So I want the kick and the bass to be introduced, but I don't want them to, just take over right away. So what I'll do is I'll get rid of these because everything's already here. It's all fine and dandy. And then I'll just copy these guys over, copy that over, and take this part because that's that's what's important. The main meat of the track. We're getting into the meat of the track now, and I will just take a listen. Right. So we're getting somewhere. What we can do now is we can go to the master channel. This is something I like to always do. Is I'll automate the master channel. So I have this little high pass filter here. So what I can do, instead of having the kick doing whatever, I can high pass the kick. Right, and I can even add this. Let's see. So then there's a change, because you want the DJ to kind of you want to do a little bit of the work for the DJ. Who's playing this in a techno set and stuff. First we have an abrupt change, and it sounds like that because of the filter, the high pass filter on the master chain. And then what we can do is we can do a sweep here, just a simple sweep. Right, and that sounds pretty cool. We can also use sweeps as a transitionary measure to kind of transition from all this that's going on here into our breakdown, quote unquote breakdown. Right. Still, I want that to have a bit more like a tension release. So I'm gonna have my ping pong delay here. This is why I always have this on my master. And I'm just gonna do this. And what this does is it subtly kind of relieves you. Right? And you can put those on like all of the fills. You'll hear this in like a lot of dance music because the delay is filtered. So we'll just kind of do that. That's all good. So for this breakdown, what we can do is add a bit of space to it. And we'll do that with our reverb here. Our reverb. And we'll just select this. I'll hold shift and just move this up. If you can see that, I hope you can. Now, I don't want that to be too abrupt starting out. So I'll take my auto filter, which is a filter, and I'll just filter some of those guys up slightly. The keyword is slightly. So a little bit of effects stacked up on top of each other gives a big effect. Right, that compared to this. Right, we can from there. You could have this playing, twice. So if the DJ so required, you could start mixing from here. And then by the time it breaks again, then, you could just cheat and take this. Then you'd be able to mix out into the next track. And for good measure, you'd have it going again. Just because. So then we have some that's like the basic arrangement. So for the second part of this, it'll be a bit different. I will filter this out. Right, and I'll just steal that. So it's a copy and paste or duplicate. And what I'll do, I'll have my EQ here. A lot can be done by automating the master. It's very, very fun. And why am I using the EQ as a filter instead of the actual filter? Well, the actual filter adds some weird stuff. And in order for it to go back to normal, you'd actually have to automate the filter going on and off, and that could produce an undesirable effect. So using the EQ, especially in Ableton 9 when it's such high quality, Just use that. Wait, we're missing some crashes here. So what do we do? We did this in like 15 minutes, so it'd be like 10 minutes if I wasn't talking. So from here, you'd kind of have it, you know, going in reverse. So there's nothing stopping you from taking stuff from here. You can take that and do that. And then you could still have like the rest of this just to have a bit of difference. And then just automate the cutoff point to make the kick not so... Because again, you want to do the work for the DJ because they're lazy. Right, and then, you know, my little thing I like to do is, you know, of course, put a little bit of that on there and have a bit of a ping pong delay going all the way out. So there's that. So like, once you're there, you can do a bunch of other things. You can, you know, add little breaks or sounds. So you can group these. So you say, all right, I have the arrangement done. So what now? Well, you can group these and put them away. Put these away. Put these away. And you can be like, all right, I'm gonna, you know, make a few more audio tracks. And then I'm gonna do that. So, what can I do? So, you know, I'll go to my library. I'll find, say, let's see here. Yeah, I'll go here, go to my effects. I'll find some downlifters and uplifters. Plenty of these around. All right, I'll have these, and I'll just pan them. Right, and then I'll just put them wherever they're needed, right? Just to add a bit of, you know, bit of funk. Right, so I want an uplifter, or you can make these too. They're fun to make. Right, you can have like weird, crazy ones. You can even take them and then double them and then do some weird warping like this. Right, use texture or tone. Right, and you just kind of EQ and filter them out, shape them, bend them to your will, put in lots of reverb. Right, so you take all those, right? You're like, okay, that sounds interesting. You'd have a lot more, and you'd have some that, you know, do other fun things. I have them like that. And yeah, so then you can group them. Then you could take this and you could just borrow the sidechain from another one because they're all sidechained by the same thing. You can have like an intense amount of sidechain on them. Right, so then you have that, and then you go on to do a final mix down, do a master. You can save it, you come back to it the next day. And then you can do some weird stuff, and you can even save out all your groups and then chop it up. And even you can add even more cool stuff on the master channel, some phasing. I could be here for like another hour, but that's basically how you would arrange. The track's around 7 minutes. It's a little long, but it's you know, a neat example. And yeah, you can have fun tweaking and making tunes and stuff. All right. I've been 19 minutes. Take care.